Hi, Tribe. Just a few points, just a few messages. I hope that this recording finds everyone in a beautiful place, in presence, awakened to the beauty of being in life and everything that surrounds us. I just want to remind my tribe. I know that from very young age, when I read certain books that talked about past lives and different dimensions and this idea of us being spiritual beings having a physical experience and this idea of telepathy and the power of healing self, all of these concepts that seemed really out there, at least when I was growing up. When I encountered them, they sounded to me as a review. It felt like a return home. So every time I opened a book and it talked about these subjects, I felt like I was being reminded more than anything else. It didn't feel like it was a new concept at all. And I think what I found shocking more than anything else was how I was the only one that was perceiving it that way. And so I just want to let you know, and I know that being that you're my tribe and you're listening to it, I know that this is exactly how you probably encountered the same kind of information. It was familiar. It felt that you've met those concepts before, that they were not new to you. And that's why they resonated. And for me, they launched me on this spiritual path that I've been since very young. So with that said, I also want to remind you that being that you've had lifetimes working on self, gathering wisdom, preparing to be in this place at this time, not to forget that you have the tools to encounter everything in front of you necessary, meaning you have all the necessary tools. So for instance, we're right now entering what's called the Ides of March. And basically what the Ides of March is there's something interesting that happens in the month of March that creates a heightening of all kinds of friction, a bubbling over of emotions, people tending to react more during this time of the year than other times of the year. And if you couple that with, I'm not an astrologer, so when I speak now, what I'm saying now is not something that I'm an expert in at all. But they're talking now about Mercury being retrograde, which I don't have a good understanding of what that really means. And there's a lot of transits cosmically that are going to create many possibilities for you to encounter people who are going to annoy the heck out of you, or you're going to have a tremendous amount of friction, or you're going to encounter situations that maybe perhaps you feared, deeply, deeply feared, would ever happen to you, and you're going to face them. And what I wanted to say to you is, you have mastered this. These are all tests that are coming up. And just remember who you are. Just take a moment, 1 second, and step away from the situation before you respond. Because in that moment, you could detach yourself and see things with scale. And the other part is, when you have someone in front of you that's giving you an incredible amount of friction, when you, there's nothing that we can do with others. Everyone's going to be who they are. That's just the way it is. We have no control. about what people do or say. We have no control about how people perceive us and their opinion of us. And these are the things that are going to be coming up. So you know who you are. And you have sufficient awareness that when someone is standing in front of you saying something to you that you know is not true, or you know it falls short of having any sense of reality, or if they're intentionally trying to trigger you, because that happens also. See if you could not only step away from it for a moment, detach, take that moment to detach from it, but I want you to see the other person as yourself. I know that I'm here. I've come into this lifetime to teach oneness, the concept of oneness. It's been the message that I've been receiving since very, very young age. It's this idea of we-ness, of oneness, that everyone that is out there is not separate from me. And so when I'm looking at somebody in front of me that's actually looks ugly or is speaking in a way that is cruel or unkind or whatever it is that's in front of you, ask yourself, what a part of that is in me? Because it is. All the shadow and the light are all in us. So ask yourself, what part of that is in me? Why is it triggering me? It's triggering me because I still need to see that. I need to be able to see that part in me, or see that there is still something that still needs to be brought to the light, that there's parts of me that I haven't forgiven. There's parts of me that I don't necessarily love. And then start to love those parts. Start to love that person in front of you, because by loving them, you're loving yourself. And I know that's probably one of the hardest things to do. But many opportunities are going to come up in this month. Take advantage of them. Take advantage of them, because all of them are the lessons that have yet not been understood, the parts of us that we haven't mastered. And then the last thing, I have had this sense that my life is like this repetitive cycle of day after day after day being so similar. And I didn't have that for a long time. I didn't have anything. Nothing was actually routine. Everything was unknown and extremely vulnerable. But now there seems to be less vulnerability, more routine. It's become kind of rote. And I had a new addition into my life in December. And this new addition, which are two puppies that I lost for a couple of years, and they're back in my life. They've created sort of I also have a family. I went from being a single parent with the children out of the nest and running around the city and sleeping over people's homes and going away for the weekend and doing spontaneous stuff all the time and going out to dinner whenever and whoever I wanted to go out with, and it was just a big party. And then all of a sudden I have two puppies arrive at my doorstep, and I've become a mom again. And it's created routine for me. It means that every day I walk them a certain time, I go to work, I come back a certain time. I say no to most people who ask me, would you like to do something? I'm saying no to everybody because it's created this huge adjustment period. Them coming into a new circumstances, having tremendous amount of anxiety. So all of a sudden, I find myself grounded, literally, taking care of my family. And it's been an incredible lesson for me. Has put me into incredible amount of anxiety, has made me gather myself, has photographed me in 1,000 different ways about my ability to navigate difficulty and negativity, and having to visit and understand anxiety at a whole other level, bringing me a lot more kindness and compassion to those who actually experience that, which is, I think, part of the reason why I had to experience it. And then now I'm in this very ordinary life with nothing much happening. And then I'm sitting here going, well, how do I make my life not routine and ordinary? I want it every day, every moment to be extraordinary, and that's the point, right? Like, that's the other lesson I've had to learn, is that the way you make every moment extraordinary and important and relevant is when you're present, when you're there, when you're actually there, when you're just not going from one thing to the other, but you're connected to yourself in all, in the entire way of creation. You're connected to your cellular body, you're connected to the molecular body and the electronic body. It's all the dimensions need to be there, because when they are, then everything is different. Everything's colored different. It's like the sunset is different, the sky is different. The people, you can connect with people so easily, and it's instant. It's that, not being grumpy and walking your dogs at 6 o'clock in the morning in 20-degree weather and just dragging them down to the park and just being fed up with your life, as opposed to, doing it with joy and actually saying, wow, here I am at 6 o'clock in the morning and the most extraordinary sunset. I'm sorry, not sunset, because I see the sunrise. There's the most amazing sunrise in the horizon, and the birds are singing a certain way this morning that I never heard them sing that way before, because maybe today was just a little bit warmer, or maybe there was just a little bit of rain not long ago, and they're rejoicing in the sun and the rain. And just people are just, some people are asleep and immersed in their whatever it is, and I'm not criticizing that, because that could be me anytime. And then sometimes people are really looking for a connection and to be there to connect to those people. It's just really beautiful. So you can make every day, make a difference to a person every single day. You have an opportunity. And it brings you a lot of joy. It's like it fills you. It fills you. You don't have that sense of, feeling empty and feeling that something is not quite fulfilling you. The little moments that you're completely in alignment with body, soul, and spirit, every single moment you're there, it's a moment to rejoice. So I'm just reminding you to stay present, stay connected to your soul and to your divine self, to realize that everything that's going to annoy the crap out of you in the next month, it's in you. So look at it, love it, heal it, and love the other. And just remember that you've got this. You have the wisdom, you have the tools. You've done this so many lifetimes, over and over again. And it's really, the last few tests are coming up for you to get this is like your thesis in your doctorate. Anyway, love you.